Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of r/slash entitled people. In today's episode, an old man scolded me for sitting down. Entitled brother is angry he may not get another free house. Adult brothers trash my mom's house and won't get jobs. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. An old man scolded me for sitting down. Not sure if this really belongs here, so if it doesn't belong to the sub, please let me know. I had to undergo 4 rounds of 4 chemotherapy for Hodgkin disease. That was diagnosed in December 2023. The last round was administered at the end of February, and I'm doing better now. Because of the treatment, my immune system is heavily damaged. I was bald, but my hair is slowly growing back, and my stamina is not as good as it used to be. I am currently attending a seminar for a week, and today we had a trip to a climbing garden. We drove from our youth hostel with the train to the city, where the park was located. I used the chance to train and built up my muscles again. After 3 hours or so, we headed back. You have to keep in mind that the climbing garden was not in the city. We drove there with a taxi and walked the 4 kilometers back. So understandably, I was incredibly tired. As soon as we reached the station, I immediately sat down on a bench while the others stood around the station. Some 70-year-old man that was standing beside the bench turned to me and said, "You know, there are old people who really need this bench." I looked around the station, and excluding my group, there were about 5 other people, including the old man, at the station. Only one of them was as old as him, and they all stood nowhere near the bench. He was the closest one. He said, "It's very disrespectful of you, 18 since October, to sit on the bench when older people need it more." A little bit dumbfounded, I answered, "There is no one trying to sit down, and of course, if someone older than me tries to sit down here, I of course would move." He just scoffed and said, "The youth of today is so disrespectful to the elderly." Right at that moment, the train arrived. We got on, thankfully without that man, and drove back. I swear, if he got on, he probably would complained about me sitting down in an almost empty train. Some people. Don't be afraid to speak up. I would just answer, "So sorry my cancer is inconveniencing you." Yeah, I would answered that, but my hair has grown so much that it basically looks like I shaved it. I've done this. Breast cancer, 12 chemo sessions, a severe reaction, 6 Herceptin sessions, and another bad reaction. 1 month in hospital between the two. People making comments about my wheelchair and my weight. I lost 80 pounds during treatment. I've also whipped off my wig and offered to take my top off and show my scars. Next time, look him in the eye and tell him straight and loudly, "I'm sorry that me getting treatment for cancer makes it difficult for me to stand." Honestly, if they need a seat, they can ask for one. If they don't want to ask, they can be quiet and stand. The thing is, the bench had space for 4 people, and I sat on the far left. I had one go at me for sitting on the bus, not in the reserved seats, but a normal one just behind them because there's elderly and sick people who need it more than you do. "Sir, I just finished radiation for my thyroid cancer. I feel like shit and would just like to get home, thanks." The looks from the bus thrown his way were glorious. Next time, just say, "It must be nice to grow old. I have cancer." Entitled brother is angry he may not get another free house. My family was rich. I, as the black sheep and the unfavorite, never saw much of the money. My brother and half-brother were spoiled by my material grandmother, and her second husband, and my cousins were spoiled by my material grandfather and his mentally second deranged wife. My mother's father, in one of the less than half dozen times he spoke to me, stood on his front porch and bragged about how he owned everything for a mile in every direction. When I turned 18, I was put out with a gym bag and few pieces of furniture from yard sales, barely able to stand up from illness. When he left at 22, he was given a house. Sure, it was a fixer-upper, but it was paid for, and he pissed it away and lost it. Over a year ago, my grandmother died from COVID, I suspect, because nobody will tell me what she died off, and because I caught COVID several times despite being vaxxed because of my health problems and was staying away to prevent others from getting sick. Well, she died, and exactly a year after her husband did, and thanks to that, it has seriously complicated the estate. The 2-story, 3-bedroom house he thought he was going to get to live in for free is now in jeopardy. And he's going off about how everybody is trying to steal his house. He's apparently been arrested for threatening one of my grandmother's stepchildren for trying to enter the house to make sure my brother isn't destroying the house, since he's a violent, mentally handicapped addict. And here's the kicker: I'm about to lose my rental home at the worst time, possibly in a few days, and he calls me asking if I can possibly post his $20,000 bail. All I need is $2,000, he whined. The entitlement on him is insane. Run far and fast, dude. Leave that crazy circus behind. If you and 100,000 other people send me $2, I'll get on it. Honestly, I've tried and I can't. The hit job they did is too much to overcome. What a mess. That's my life. I literally have my mother on tape admitting she and my wealthy grandmother did everything possible to prevent me from taking off as an adult. This asshole was given everything, and he pisses it away. If anything, hopefully you don't lose your house situation, but hey, they likely have no idea how to live without being spoon-fed. I do not get parents and families that sabotage other family members succeeding. Sorry that is happening. My brother can't bathe without being told to, or feed himself without almost burning the place down. His IQ is almost 70, and my family has him convinced there's nothing wrong with him. I was a child prodigy until I got sick and the horrors I endured as a kid. I half-assed an MBA with a 3.5, almost 3.6 GPA, and he thinks he's every bit as intelligent and capable as I am. He and my mother are convinced I'm somehow sabotaging them. Adult brothers trash my mom's house and won't get jobs. My 5 brothers range from 20 to 33. I'm the only girl, and I'm the only one that's moved out. Whenever I come to stay with them, I try to help clean up, but everyone is a literal tornado, and the second I turn my back, the whole place is disgusting again. I try to help them get jobs, but of course they all throw fits when I mention it. My mom, 50, is too exhausted to address it anymore. The house is unhealthy, and everyone has respiratory problems from the dust and mold. She won't kick them out because she's convinced they'll become homeless like her brothers. Only 2 of them finished high school. 1 has never had a job before. Only 2 can drive. I feel like a bad daughter to let them continue to take advantage of my mom like this. It started when my dad died 8 years ago, and they've never recovered. But I don't know what to do about it, and I don't know what to do with all this anger. My mom wants to move and downsize, but won't list the house until it's clean and is too scared for my brothers to downsize. What can be done? My personal opinion would be to get your mother out of there any way possible and let them fester in their own uselessness. Nothing lights a fire under someone to get a job like having your amenities cut off. I just talked about it with my mom, and she said it would be abandoning them. I tried to convince her that my brothers are adults, but she keeps calling them man babies and saying they have to be cared for like children. You can't help someone unwilling to help themselves. Someone determined to go down with the ship to drown. If you try, you'll likely be dragged down with them and drown yourself. This is an unfortunate truth. You might be able to mitigate things for your mom, but you can't fix a problem that she is actively enabling. That's the only thing that makes sense, but it's so hard to accept. Your mom needs a wake-up call. If she doesn't evict your brothers, they will not leave. And she does need to evict them. Maybe they can rent an apartment together to save money. Neither you nor mom should involve yourself in the lease. Yeah, I guess there's nothing I can do until it gets to that point. Rather, even when it does get to that point, yeah, I don't want them to involve me in their consequences. Invite mom to visit you for a couple weeks. No brothers. Remind them you won't tolerate their mess in your home. Let mom see that there is a nicer life without them. Also give the brothers a little touch of what might happen if anything happens to mom. She won't be their safety net forever. They need to start learning responsibility for themselves either collectively or separately. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.